Congrats to the people in Minnesota. That's evidentiary proof that when citizens come together with one common goal, Providence moves and only good things can happen. Our committees have been formed and staffed. I want to thank those of you who volunteered as committee heads and committee members. You have your work cut out for you. But I know you will be productive and successful. Those of you who wasn't selected, please do not be discouraged. We will be creating additional committees to assist in the work ahead. However, now let me speak plainly. Right now, many Americans feel like something is slipping out of control. Schools feel less safe. Online spaces feel more hostile. Technology is moving faster than people can understand. Politics argue why daily risk remains. And underneath all of that is a quiet question people are asking themselves. Is anyone thinking about how to keep daily life stable without chaos, without violence, and without waiting years for Washington to act? That is what this channel is for. Not commentary, not outrage, not fear, just structure, just standards, just stability. Because most threats we face are not solved by force. They are reduced by predictable behavior, disciplined civic norms, and calm, coordinated action that lowers risk instead of escalating it. In this video, I'm going to name just some of the major threats facing us as Americans, specifically, and explain exactly what standards not force will do for each one in lawful, practical terms, so we as ordinary people can apply them in our own communities. No slogans, no abstractions, only operational clarity. We as Americans are not just anxious, we are exposed to violence in schools, exposed to corporate systems that quietly shape our daily life, exposed to AI systems we don't control, exposed to political paralysis that does not resolve risk in real time, exposed to isolation where neighbors do not know neighbors, exposed to information manipulation, exposed to economic instability that makes people reactive instead of strategic. And underneath all of that is a quiet question people are asking. The question is not what is wrong. The question is, what exactly will we do concretely to reduce those risks without chaos and without violence and without waiting for Washington? If you are subscribed, you are not here to watch events unfold. You are here to become part of a national stability network that makes daily life calmer, safer, and more predictable, one standard at a time. Our mantra here at Standards Not Force is we don't let things happen, we make things happen. Now let's begin with the first threat, school violence, and why reacting with fear has never been an effective safety strategy. School violence and mass shootings are not abstract. Children and teachers now live with the possibility of violence inside places meant for learning. We'll be implementing a standards, not force, gift giving Mondays initiative. One small thing that will make a huge difference in a child's life. We started kindergarten. Each child give one inexpensive gift to a classmate each Monday while attending school. It could be a card or a note, or if you prefer, a small purchased gift that states, "Happy Monday. Enjoy the rest of the week. I love you." That means the number of gift-giving Mondays of a child from age 5 to 18 is 676 Mondays. 13 years times 52 weeks. Practical range accounting for leap year drift, 676 to 678 Mondays. That impact on a child receiving a gift from another child creates empathy conditioning. Repeated pro-social acts wire the brain toward perspective, taking compassion. It reinforces pro-social neural pathways. It creates a moral identity formation. The child begins to see themselves as someone who helps others, which stabilizes ethical decision making in adolescence. It reduces aggression, reactivity, because regular giving behaviors are associated with improved emotional regulation and lower intensive hostility. It'll build social confidence and belonging, because frequent positive interactions with strangers and neighbors build trust, decrease social anxiety, and strengthen community attachment. The long-term civic orientation. Children exposed to structured generosity are more likely to engage in volunteering, cooperation, and nonviolent civic participation as adults. The net gain effect. 676 structured acts of kindness during developmental years creates a durable pro-social identity, higher emotional stability, and stronger community trust norms that persist into adulthood. No Washington needed. Meanwhile, as the Gift Giving Monday initiative gets underway, we at Standard Not Force will also establish community safety standards around schools, encourage calm zone parameters, behavior standards, not enforcement, promote visible signage emphasizing non-confrontational conduct near schools, normalize neighbor awareness and adult presence during arrival and dismissal hours, build a national eyes open, not alarmed culture that trains subscribers to notice behavior risk signals without panic or profiling, encourage lawful reporting of credible threats through proper channels only, reinforce that awareness and civic responsibility, not vigilantism, promote non-escalating norms, reject online rhetoric that glorifies violence or confrontation, and replace fear messaging with preparedness messaging. Why this matters. School safety is not solved only by law enforcement. It is stabilized by predictable adult behavior, calm environments, and community presence. Subscribers become stabilizers, not reactors. Our message to Washington, both parties: thank you, but we can handle this ourselves. Second threat: corporate control over our daily infrastructure. Most Americans do not realize how much of their daily life runs through corporate systems: hotels, transportation platforms, food delivery networks, retail logistic chains. These systems shape outcomes quietly. What standard not force will do? We will create transparency pressure. We'll encourage lawful, standardized corporate inquiries. We will do this calmly, documented, with non-hostility. We request clarity on their corporate policies that affect community stability and dignity. We will align consumer behavior voluntarily by promoting informed choices, not boycotts driven by outrage cycles. Encourage long-term consistency instead of short-term reaction. Normalize institutional accountability without disruption. We will normalize institutional accountability without disruption. No interference with commerce. Will not harass workers. Only discipline, reputational signaling. Subscribers become coordinated civic stakeholders, not scattered consumers. The third threat: artificial intelligence disruption and job displacement fear. AI is advancing faster than most workers can adapt. Fear is spreading. Confusion is spreading. Misinformation is spreading. What standards not force will do? We'll promote AI literacy. Help subscribers understand where AI is used in daily life. Encourage verification habits before believing automated content. Establish human oversight standards. Push for transparency when automated decisions affect housing, jobs, or services. We reinforce the principle that machines should exist, not replace human judgment in civic life. And we reduce panic narratives. Calm, factual framing of technological change. Emphasis on adaptation instead of fear-driven reaction. Subscribers become informed participants in technological transition, not passive recipients. The fourth threat: gun violence in our communities. Gun violence is not only about national policy debates. It is about daily behavior norms. What standards not force will do? Normalize de-escalation culture. Encourage calm conflict resolution standards. Reject online and offline rhetoric that promotes confrontation. Promote pause before escalation norm. Teach subscribers to disengage from heated encounters in public settings. Reduce small conflicts that escalate into irreversible outcomes. We will support community calm standards. Promote environments where heated confrontations are socially discouraged. Encourage presence of steady adults in community spaces. Subscribers become de-escalators in daily life, not contributors to volatility. The fifth threat: political gridlock and institutional paralysis. Washington moves slowly. Daily life risk moves quickly. What standards not force will do? We'll build parallel civic stability norms focused on behavior citizens can adapt immediately. Reduce dependence on electoral cycles for daily safety. Maintain nonpartisan standards. Engage institutions regardless of what party in Washington is in control. Avoid ideological labeling that fractures participation. Subscribers become stability agents independent of political swings. The sixth threat: social isolation and loss of neighbor trust. Most Americans do not know the people living around them. Isolation increases fear. Fear increases volatility. What Standards Not Force will do? Launch Gift Giving Monday initiative. Just small voluntary gestures to neighbors and strangers. Reduce perceived hostility between ideological groups. Normalize civil contact norms. Encourage brief, respectful daily interactions across differences. Reinforce shared community in ordinary settings. Rebuild micro-level trust. Stability grows locally before it scales nationally. Subscribers become connectors in their own neighborhoods. The seventh threat: information warfare and emotional manipulation. Outrage spreads faster than truth. Emotional reaction cycles exhaust citizens. What Standards Not Force will do? Establish verification discipline. We'll encourage subscribers to pause before sharing emotional charged content. Promote calm fact-checking habits. Replace reaction with strategy. Shift focus from outrage expression to measurable civic impact. Protect movement credibility. No amplification of unverified claims. No engagement with inflammatory bait. Subscribers become signal amplifiers of calm clarity, not chaos. The eighth threat facing us as Americans: economic instability and daily stress. Financial insecurity makes people reactive and short-term focused. What Standards Not Force will do? We promote low-risk civic participation. No tactics that expose participants to legal or financial harm. Encourage lawful, sustainable engagement. Emphasize discipline over spectacle. Low-term influence requires stable participants, not burned-out activists. Subscribers remain protected while engaged. Why Americans should subscribe to Standards Not Force? Let me be direct. Subscribing is not symbolic, it is functional. Subscribers receive clear, lawful civic strategies, measured responses to national threats, coordinated standards language, psychological fortification against panic narratives, a disciplined framework that avoids violence and legal exposure. You are not subscribing to watch commentary. You are subscribing to become a part of a national standards network that stabilizes daily life where policy cannot reach fast enough. Final positioning. We are not a protest channel. We are not a political campaign. We are not an enforcement body. We are a civilian standards architecture designed to reduce fear, stabilize communities, and create disciplined civic pressure that institutions must eventually respond to. School safety, community calm, corporate transparency, technological accountability, neighborhood trust, non-escalatory civic engagement. These are not slogans. These are operational objectives, and they do not require force. There's another reality we must acknowledge calmly. Washington, D.C. moves on election cycles. Daily life moves on hourly risk cycles. Those two timelines do not match. So our position is not anger, it is clarity. If DC ignores the real-time stability needs of ordinary American citizens, then we will ignore DC as the primary solution to those needs. Not with hostility, not with rebellion, but with disciplined independence. We will not wait for gridlock to resolve before we reduce violence risk. We will not wait for hearings before we strengthen neighborhood trust. We will not wait for legislation before we adopt de-escalation norms that makes daily life calmer. In simple terms, we will ignore DC where DC ignores the immediate stability concerns of the people. That does not mean disengaging from democracy. It means refusing to leave daily safety, school environments, and community harm entirely dependent on slow institutional processes. Standard not force is built on a different premise. Civic stability can be built laterally, citizen by citizen, community to community, without waiting for vertical permission from Washington. So while Washington debates, we standardize. While Washington delays, we stabilize. And while Washington focuses on partisan outcomes, we focus on predictable daily behavior that reduces risk regardless of who holds office. That is not defiance. That is civic maturity. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. Gift giving Monday starts with me. Happy Monday. Please enjoy the rest of your week. I love you. All power to all the people. Standards not force. I'll see you on the next video.